Hello everyone, this is Vikrant Patel, Assistant Professor from BIET Jhansi. In this semester, I will teach you hydraulic engineering and machines. So, first of all, let's know about hydraulic engineering. Hydraulic engineering is concerned with the flow and conveyance of fluid like water. Okay, here we will study how flow of water takes place in different hydraulic structures. This area of civil engineering is intimately related to the design of bridges, dams, spillways, culverts, channels, etc. So basically, hydraulic engineering is the application of the principles of fluid mechanics to problems dealing with the collection, storage, control, transport, regulation, measurement, and use of water. Okay, in the last semester you have been taught fluid mechanics. Okay, so the concept of fluid mechanics we have to apply in this subject. What is hydraulic machines? Hydraulic machines are those machines which convert either hydraulic energy into mechanical energy or mechanical energy into hydraulic energy. Turbines and pumps comes under hydraulic machines. Turbines convert hydraulic energy into mechanical energy. What is hydraulic energy? This is the energy associated with water. Okay, so in case in turbines, hydraulic energy is converted into mechanical energy, means the water energy used to rotate the shaft, and this is further converted into electrical energy. In case of pumps, the mechanical energy is converted into hydraulic energy. We know pumps are used to pump the water at high level, so by rotating the shaft we generate the hydraulic energy in this case. Since this is a first lecture, so first of all let's see the course structure. The subject code of hydraulic engineering and machine is KCE 403. Here weekly there will be 3 lecture, 1 tutorial. The evaluation scheme is the CT will be of 30 marks, the teaching assessment will be of 20 marks, the total internal marks will be of 50, and in the end semester the theory examination will be of 100 marks. So you have to score out of 150 in this subject. Okay, and the credit of this subject is 4. Now let's see the syllabus of this subject. The whole subject is divided into 5 number of units. In unit number 1, this is the introductory part. Here we have to discuss the basic concepts of free surface flows. Free surface flow means nothing but open channel flow. Okay, velocity and pressure distribution, mass, energy and momentum principle for prismatic and non-prismatic channels. So here we have to discuss mainly the uniform flow in open channel. Okay, in unit number 2 we will go for gradually varied flow, and in unit number 3 we will discuss the characteristics of rapidly varied flow. In unit number 4, impulse momentum equation and different types of pumps like reciprocating pumps, centrifugal pumps with their operation, velocity triangle, performance curves, cavitation, multi-staging, selection of pumps. Okay, these topics we will cover. And in unit number 5 we will study the different types of turbines like Pelton turbine, okay, Francis turbine, Kaplan turbine, head-on reaction turbine, unit quantity, similarity loss, specific speed, cavitation, and the characteristic curves. These are the books you can prefer. and I will suggest you to use K. Subramanya for open channel flow and R.K. Bansal or R.K. Rajput for hydraulic machines. So here we start unit number 1, introduction of open channel flow. What is open channel flow? The flow of liquid under atmospheric pressure through a passage is called open channel flow. So if in the flow at the water surface level the pressure is atmospheric pressure, then this kind of flow is called open channel flow. For example, flow in river, flow in sewer, or flow in canal. The flow of water through pipes under atmospheric pressure is also classified as open channel flow. In the pipe, the flow is under atmospheric pressure, or if in the pipe flow the water level is below the top of the pipe, then this kind of flow is also known as open channel flow. What force is responsible to cause flow in open channel? That is gravitational force. Okay, and how this gravitational force is induced in the channel? By providing slope to the bed. Clear? Before moving forward, we must know some geometrical parameters of a channel. First one is wetted area. Wetted area is a cross-sectional area of the flow section of the channel. For example, in a rectangular channel, the depth is capital D and width is capital B, and depth of flow of water is Y. Then in this case the area of flow will be by. Area of flow is equal to P into D, that is wrong. Next is wetted perimeter. This is the length of the boundary, channel boundary, which is in contact with flowing water at any section. So in case of rectangular channel, what is the wetted perimeter? See, here we have to add the total length of the channel boundary which is in contact with water. So this length of the boundary is in contact with water, this length is in contact with water, and this length. Okay. So capital P is equal to B plus Y is equal to B plus 2Y is the wetted perimeter in case of rectangular channel. Next is hydraulic radius. Hydraulic radius is the ratio of wetted area to wetted perimeter. It is also called hydraulic mean depth. For example, in case of rectangular channel, if the bottom width is B and the depth of flow is small y, in this case R is equal to what is wetted area? By, and wetted perimeter is B plus 2y. So this is the hydraulic radius in case of rectangular channel. For circular channel, if the liquid is flowing full depth of the pipe, then in this case hydraulic radius is equal to wetted area in this case is pi by 4 d square if diameter of this circular pipe is small d, and perimeter is pi d. So pi will get cancelled, this will get cancelled, this is equal to d by 4. In case of circular pipe, if the flow of liquid is up to half of the diameter of the pipe, then in this case hydraulic radius is equal to wetted area, in this case is this one, that is 1 by 2 of pi by 4 d square, divided by wetted perimeter is this length is pi d by 2. So in this case also the hydraulic radius is d by 4. So in both the cases the hydraulic radius is same. Next is hydraulic depth. It is denoted by capital D. Remember, hydraulic mean depth is different and hydraulic depth is different. Hydraulic mean depth is hydraulic radius and hydraulic depth is defined as the ratio of wetted area to the top width of the channel. For example, in rectangular channel, the top width is this one, this is B only. So D is equal to By divided by B, that is equal to 1. In case of trapezoidal channel, so remember here the top width is different and bottom width is different. So we need to find the top width in this case. Now we come to types of flow in channels. Basically, flow in channels are divided into 5 categories: steady flow and unsteady flow, uniform and non-uniform flow. Non-uniform flow is also called as varied flow, laminar and turbulent flow, subcritical, critical and supercritical flow, and especially varied flow. Firstly, we discuss steady flow and unsteady flow. Steady flow is the flow in which the flow characteristics like depth of flow, velocity of flow and discharge do not change with respect to time. Okay. If in a channel at a particular section, if with respect to time there is no change in depth of flow, velocity and discharge, then this type of flow is defined as steady flow. Mathematically, it can be represented by dou y upon dou t is equal to 0, dou v upon dou t is equal to 0 and dou q upon dou t is equal to 0. Unsteady flow, when these parameter changes with respect to time. Dou y upon dou t is not equal to 0 and so on. Now second one is uniform and non-uniform flow. Firstly, we look at uniform flow. This is the flow in which the depth and velocity remain constant over a given length of the channel. For example, in this channel, if there is no change in the depth of flow and velocity of flow over a given length in the channel, then this type of flow is called uniform flow. Mathematically, we can express uniform flow by dou y upon dou L is equal to 0, dou v upon dou L is equal to 0. What is L? That is the length of the channel. Uniform flow is possible only in prismatic channel. What is prismatic channel? This is the channel in which the cross-sectional area of the channel remains constant throughout the length of the channel. So in prismatic channel only the uniform flow is possible. Uniform flow may be steady or unsteady. How the uniform flow can be steady? See in this figure, if with respect to time at both the section there is no change in the depth and velocity of the flow, and also there is no change in these parameters with respect to length also, then this type of flow is called as uniform steady flow. But if suppose at some time there is a depth of flow is y1 here and y1 here also, okay, but after some time the depth of flow is decrease and it becomes y2. So see here, at a particular time the depth of flow is y1 but it is same at both the section. After some time this depth of flow get decreased and become y2, but again with respect to the length at both the sections the depth of flow is same. So this is uniform flow, but at a particular section with respect to time the depth of flow is getting changed. So that's why this is uniform unsteady flow. What is non-uniform flow? This is the flow in which depth and velocity of the flow varies continuously from one section to another section. Okay, this type of flow is non-uniform flow. It is also called as varied flow. Mathematically it can be expressed as dou y upon dou L is not equal to 0, dou v upon dou L is not equal to 0. Varied flow are further classified as rapidly varied flow and gradually varied flow. What is RVF? This is the flow in which depth of flow changes abruptly over a comparatively small length of channel. For example, hydraulic jump and hydraulic drop. In rapidly varied flow, the depth of flow changes abruptly over a short length of the channel. For example, when supercritical flow meets subcritical flow, then there is a jump in the flow, and this is called hydraulic jump. So this kind of flow, in this flow we can see there is a sudden change in the depth of flow over a short length. So that's why this type of flow is called as rapidly varied flow. Hydraulic drop. When there is a sudden drop in the channel bed, then the depth of flow changes abruptly. Okay, this is also one example of RVF. In case of gradually varied flow, the depth of flow changes gradually over a long length of the channel. See in this figure, here flow stream passes over a spillway. Initially the flow was uniform, and when this stream approaches to spillway, the depth of flow increases gradually, and this takes place over a very large length of the channel. Okay, so this type of flow is called as gradually varied flow, and after that there is a rapid change in the depth, and this is happening in a very short length of the channel. Okay, so this type of flow is called as RVF, rapidly varied flow, and again the stream will become uniform. So from here to here, the flow is non-uniform flow or varied flow. Next is laminar flow and turbulent flow. To define laminar flow and turbulent flow, we use one parameter, that is Reynolds number. And it is denoted by Ra. Reynolds number is the ratio of inertia force to viscous force. So for open channel flow, the Reynolds number can be mathematically expressed as rho VR divided by mu, where V is average velocity of flow and R is hydraulic radius, and mu is dynamic viscosity of flowing liquid. So based on the range of Reynolds number, we define whether the flow is laminar, turbulent or transitional flow. So if Re is less than 500, so this type of flow in channel will be classified as laminar flow. If Re is greater than 2000, then flow will be turbulent, and if Re is in between 500 and 2000, then in this case the flow is transitional flow. Next is subcritical, critical and supercritical flow. Here we will use Froude number, that is root over inertia force divided by gravitational force. So in case of open channel, Froude number is represented mathematically V divided by root over GD, where V is mean velocity or average velocity and D is hydraulic depth. So if Froude number is less than 1, then the flow is categorized as subcritical flow. If Fr is equal to 1, then the flow will be called as critical flow. And if Froude number is greater than 1, then this kind of flow is classified as supercritical flow. In case of GVF and RVF, we assume that no flow is externally added to or taken out of the canal system. Suppose this is a top view of main channel. So from this main channel, we do not add externally any flow, or we do not taken out the flow from this main channel. Okay. However, if some flow is added to or abstracted from the system, the resulting varied flow is known as a spatially varied flow. See in this figure, this is a main canal and this is a branch canal. Okay, so here what we are doing, here we are taking out the flow from the main channel. Okay, so what will happen here, at this section the discharge will be different, at this section discharge will be different. Okay, here discharge will be more, here discharge will be less. So in this so this type of flow is known as specially varied flow, where discharge changes with respect to length of the channel. This spatially varied flow can be steady or unsteady. How it will be steady spatially varied flow? At this section and at this section. Here discharge is different with respect to length, okay, but with respect to time, if discharge is constant, then this type of flow is steady SVF, and if discharge changes with respect to length as well as with respect to time, then that type of flow is unsteady SVF. So far we have discussed the basics of open channel flow, and in the next class we will discuss the velocity distribution and pressure distribution in the OCF, and then we will go for mass equation, energy equation and momentum equation for prismatic as well as non-prismatic channel. Thank you.